The first retirement planning myth I want to bust today. That is, if you're over 40 years old, it is too late to start. If you happen to find yourself in your 40s like myself, and you haven't saved much money, it is easy to get into a rut that it is too late. Too late to start saving and planning for retirement. I mean, 50 is right around the corner, and after that, you'll hit the supposed official retirement age of 59 and a half. How are you ever going to catch up? How will you have enough for a comfortable retirement? You're going to need to work until you die, right? But do not fall into this rut, my friend. If you've heard of this myth, whether from other people or just swirling in your head, I want to tell you that you're not late at all. In fact, starting at 40 gives you some serious advantages that a 20-something doesn't have. First, you're likely earning more money now than you've ever before. Your peak earning years are typically between 40 and 55, which means you have more income, more firepower to throw at retirement savings as long as you're able to shore up your spending. Second, if you qualify for catch-up contributions, per the IRS rules, once you turn 50, you can contribute an additional $7,500 to your 401k on top of the standard $23,500 limit, bringing your total to $31,000 per year. For IRAs, you get an extra $1,000 catch-up contribution, allowing you to save $8,000 annually instead of the standard $7,000. 3. You still have years to leverage the power of compounding. For example, if you start investing $1,500 per month at age 40 and earn a 7% return, you'll have about $1.2 million by age 65, even if you start from zero. If you add catch-up contribution after 50 and increase your monthly investments to $2,500, you could end up with about $1.5 million or more by retirement. And research backs this up as well. The fact that 40 is not late at all. The Employee Benefits Research Institute found that workers who start saving at 40 can still achieve retirement security by saving 15 to 20% of their income. Fidelity's own data shows that people who start aggressively saving in their 40s often end up better prepared than those who sporadically save throughout their 20s and 30s. And I personally feel that 40s are actually one of the best decades to get serious about wealth building. Why? Because you have something that many lack throughout their younger years: the income, the motivation, and the life experience to make smart decisions. So if you find yourself in your 40s and you feel like it's too late, do not despair, my friend. Don't let that negative talk dissuade you from taking action, because the truth is that a 40-year-old something who is motivated and focused can absolutely build a comfortable retirement. Alright, but before we get to the next truth about retirement, while we're on the subject of never being too late and making smart decisions, let me talk to you about something that is just as important as planning for your golden years: protecting your family's financial future today. Think about it. You could be diligently saving for retirement, maximizing 401k contributions, and planning for decades down the road. But what happens if something unexpected occurs and you're suddenly not here anymore to provide for your family right now? That's exactly why my wife and I didn't hesitate when our children were born. We immediately got term life insurance. Because we realized that all our retirement planning means nothing if we can't help protect our family's present and future when they need it most. Which is why I'm excited to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Fabric by Gerber Life. Here's what I love about Fabric. They've completely eliminated the traditional insurance hassles that deter so many people from taking this important step and getting coverage to protect their families. Their process is refreshingly simple. You can apply online in less than 10 minutes. No scheduling appointments with agents, no drowning in paperwork. Just a straightforward digital experience you can complete from anywhere and on your own time. And here's another game changer. If you qualify, you could be offered coverage instantly with no health exam required. That means you can secure your family's financial future faster than the time it takes to order takeout. Fabric offers a range of affordable coverage options to fit your family's unique needs and budget. You can get up to $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. To put that in perspective, that's less than the cost of an apple, a can of soda, or a candy bar. Yet this small daily amount could help replace years of your income or more if something unexpected happens. And Fabric isn't just about life insurance. They offer free online wills, access to kids' investment accounts, and more tools to help you build and protect your family's financial future. All manageable right from your phone. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and over 1,900 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, thousands of families have already discovered the peace of mind that comes with Fabric. Look, I know, nobody wakes up excited about life insurance. But here's the reality. We can't control what tomorrow brings, but we can control how prepared our families are for whatever comes their way. So don't wait another day to secure your family's future. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/tay. That's meetfabric.com/tay. MEET fabric.com/tay. Alright, with that said, let's go back to the video. The number 2 retirement planning myth I want to bust today. That's when it comes to taking risks, you have to get more conservative as you age. That if you're nearing 59 and a half, you have to start shifting your investments to more conservative assets such as bonds and cash. Now, there is some truth to this statement, but it is a lot more nuanced than this blanket statement. So much is based on one's personal circumstances, risk tolerance, risk capacity, and many others. For example, the traditional retirement rule for investment portfolios that many have probably heard is this: 100 minus your age in stocks, or the more updated one these days is 120 minus your age in stocks. So if you're 60 years old, the traditional rule says you should have 40% in stocks and 60% in bonds. The updated version bumps that to 60% stocks and 40% bonds. But here's the problem. This one-size-fits-all approach completely ignores the reality of modern retirement. Think about it. If you retire at 60, you could easily live another 25 to 30 years. Actually, with access to modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, my guess is that many of you will live up to 100. Now we're talking about another 40 years. Another 40 years of investing. So what happens if you go so conservative that you put the majority of your investments in bonds or cash? It will not be able to keep up with inflation. It will lose purchasing power over time. It won't be able to fund your lifestyle over that 40-year time period. Additionally, the fact is that none of us will draw a big chunk of our portfolio in a single year. It will likely be spread out over many years. This could be due to our financial needs or the fact that we have other sources of income such as part-time jobs, rental property, or Social Security, which means that a good chunk of our investments won't be touched for 20, 30, to even 40 years. Then that is money that needs to stay aggressive and continue to compound and grow. The bottom line is that we should be careful in just blindly following this idea of being more conservative as we near retirement. Our portfolio should reflect our actual situation and long-term time horizon. A simple framework I like to use to help us frame our risk is using the bucket strategy. 1. In short-term bucket, keep 1 to 2 years of expenses in easy-to-access liquid cash. 2. In medium-term bucket, keep another 3 to 7 years in moderate investments. This could be high-yield savings, money market funds, or bonds. Then 3. In the long-term bucket, money you won't need for 10 plus years, invest it aggressively, ideally in stocks. The bottom line is, do not let your age automatically disqualify you from aggressively investing. The number 3 retirement planning myth I want to bust today. Using your 401k's default settings. You worked hard to get that dream job. And when it came to selecting your 401k investment option, you were just so overwhelmed with all the options out there, you selected the default. Or in most cases, the default was selected for you. And doing so in essence, you entrusted your financial future to the 401k plan administrators and your company's HR department. On the surface, it doesn't seem like a grave sin, right? I mean, that is the whole job of your company's benefits and HR department. Thus, I'm sure they thought through the default options long and hard and selected the option that is perfectly designed for you and your financial goals. Because they have your best interest at heart, right? Well, let me be blunt here. No, they don't have your best interest at heart. The only one looking out for your financial interest is you. So embrace that fact. And if you have not logged into your 401k plan since you've been hired, you have my full permission to stop this video right now and go to your computer and log in. Don't worry, I'll be here until you come back. Alright, are you back? Let me share with you a very uncomfortable truth if you believe in this myth. The myth that you're totally fine with your 401k's default setting. You are not. The default settings are designed for the plan administrator's convenience, not your wealth maximization. They're built to satisfy legal requirements and minimize complaints, not to make you rich. Let's break down what these defaults typically look like. First, the default contribution rate is usually somewhere between 3 to 6% of your salary. Sounds reasonable, right? Except that's often just enough to get a partial company match. What if you want to contribute more? Or if you need to contribute more? The default creates this dangerous illusion that you're doing enough when you're actually not. Second, your default investment is almost always a target date fund. Now, target date funds are not necessarily bad, but you have to understand that not all target date funds, especially these days, are created equal. There are many great low-cost ones out there, but there are also many actively managed ones with some sneaky high fees. And you're not going to know this until you check. Third, these target date funds use a boilerplate, get conservative as you age formula that we just discussed. Remember, your decision to add more conservative assets to your portfolio shouldn't just be determined by your retirement year. A healthy 60-year-old with plenty of other assets might need a completely different allocation than what the target date fund provides. And 4, most 401k plans have little to no automatic escalation built in. So that 4% you started contributing 5 years ago is still 4% today, even though your salary has probably increased significantly. You're actually saving a smaller percentage of your total compensation over time. Here's what wise investors do instead. They regularly log into a 401k account and actively monitor how much is being invested and where it is being invested. Then they manually set what percentage of their paycheck they want going into contribution rather than relying on the default, ideally as much as possible. They also play an active role in selecting what investments they want their money going into. They might end up being okay with a target date fund, but that is an active decision, not relying on default settings. The bottom line, your 401k's default settings are designed to keep you comfortable with a boilerplate formula. If you want to build real wealth, you need to take more control and optimize every aspect of that account. The number 4 retirement planning myth that I want to bust today. The statement that you cannot touch your retirement money before the age of 59 and a half. Now again, there is some truth to the statement. Based on many IRS rules, there are penalties for withdrawing your money early from 401k and IRA. And rightly so. These rules are there to prevent us from using our 401k like an ATM machine. Most people are not good with money, never mind investing. So the government has to place guardrails to ensure that people don't sabotage themselves. However, that doesn't mean mechanically that all retirement money cannot be touched before the age of 59 and a half. There are actually several legitimate ways to access your retirement money early without penalties. Let me walk you through some of the big ones. First, Roth IRA contributions can always be withdrawn penalty-free. Notice I said contributions, not earnings. If you've contributed $50,000 to a Roth IRA over the years, you can pull out that $50,000 anytime for any reason with no penalties or taxes. It's only the growth on top of your contributions that's locked up until 59 and a half. Second, many 401k plans allow loans against your balance. You can typically borrow up to 50% of your vested balance or $50,000, whichever is less. You pay yourself back with interest, usually over 5 years. It's not ideal, but it's available if you need to access that money. Third, there are hardship withdrawals in specific situations. Things like medical expenses, preventing foreclosure on your primary residence, college tuition, or certain disability expenses. Each plan has different rules, but these exceptions exist. Now, I don't want you to hear this and think, great, I can access my 401k money today. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. Leave that money in there unless there is a dire emergency. What I want you to take away is that you have a lot more flexibility than you originally might have thought. So if you've been shying away from maxing out your retirement accounts because of this myth that you can't touch your retirement account before the age of 59 and a half, ignore that myth and max out those accounts as much as possible. Trust me, your future you will appreciate you for it. Number 5 and last retirement planning myth I want to bust today. And this is a fun one, that Social Security will disappear. You hear this everywhere, especially from those that love to perpetuate useless fear-mongering and clickbait headlines. Social Security is going bankrupt. Your benefits will vanish. The government is stealing your retirement. And why such bold statements? It's because of reports like this. According to the 2024 Social Security Trustee Report, the Social Security Old Age and Survivor Insurance OASI Trust Fund is projected to be depleted in 2033. Just reading this is enough to make anyone panic and either lock themselves in a bunker or give up planning for retirement entirely, giving the excuse that the whole system is rigged. However, if we dig further, what we see is that even if the trust fund runs completely dry, Social Security can still pay about 80% of scheduled benefits from ongoing payroll taxes. Social Security is not some investment account that can go to zero. It's funded by current workers paying into the system. As long as people are working and paying payroll taxes, money is flowing in. The crisis is really about a funding shortfall, not total system collapse. And historically, Congress has always acted to fix Social Security shortfalls. In 1983, when the program faced similar crisis, they made adjustments, gradually raising the retirement age, increasing payroll taxes slightly, and taxing benefits for higher earners. The system was stabilized for decades. The same will likely happen again. The Congressional Budget Office has outlined several potential fixes, lifting the payroll tax cap to about $160,000, gradually increasing the payroll tax rate by less than 1%, or slightly adjusting the benefits formula. Now, none of these are politically popular, but they're all relatively minor tweaks that would solve the long-term funding issue. And here's the political reality. Social Security is one of the most protected and sensitive programs in American politics. There are over 67 million Americans currently receiving benefits, and they vote at higher rates than any other demographic. No politician wants to be the one who killed Social Security. Bottom line, don't let fear-mongering prevent you from thinking about retirement or saving for the future. It's easy to focus on the negative and put our arms up and surrender. But don't. I'm hopeful of the future, and I want you to be hopeful as well. Thank you guys for watching the theme of planning for the future. If you want to learn my favorite wealth building strategy, the slow wealth strategy, the timeless strategy that never fails, please check out my video here. Until next time, all the best.